Hi, I am Terry Less, the Assistant Superintendent for the Walled Lake Consolidated School District. I'd like to take the next several minutes to briefly explain our budget process and what we expect our funding to be for 2014-2015. I will also describe how we have balanced our budget in recent years and plan to for the 2014-2015 school year. Over the last year and a half, our community has graciously approved renewal of the sinking fund, as well as the 2014 Safety, Security, and Technology Bond. The sinking fund enables the district to afford much-needed repairs and replacements within our 24 buildings. The Safety, Security, and Technology Bond will provide the funds necessary to further secure all buildings, provide much-needed updates to communication systems in the wireless network, and provide every classroom with technology. While these funds are of utmost importance, they are very restricted and cannot be used for any operational purposes. Operational expenses are paid for through the general fund of a school district. As a result, the focus of all school district budget discussions is on the general fund. Balancing our budget, or covering district expenses, has been a challenge for the last several years. The Board of Education has had to make many difficult decisions. While the reductions are too numerous to mention here, they include privatizing custodial and transportation services, closing 2 buildings, increasing class size, employee concessions, and the reduction of 26% of district staff, impacting every level and department. Fund balance or district savings have also been used to supplement revenue and to cover expenses. The current school year, 2013-2014, is a common example of how we have covered expenses when revenue is not adequate. Budget reductions were required and employee concessions were negotiated. A portion of district fund balance will also be used, as will revenue generated from the sale of property. District fund balance and the use of property sale revenue are not ongoing sources of revenue. This presents a structural hole in our budget for 2014-2015, even if we do not experience any increases in our expenses. Total fund balance is expected to be down to $8 million at the end of this school year. At only 5% of annual expenditures, fund balance can no longer be used to assist with annual costs. As a result, our early projections show a deficit of nearly $6 million if revenues remain the same for next year. In order to balance without further budget reductions or employee concessions, we would require an increase in funding of $405 per pupil. The state budget process begins with 3 proposals, including an executive proposal from the governor, a House proposal, and a Senate proposal. The negotiation then begins and a final budget is eventually approved. All 3 proposals include an increase for K-12 funding. The increases range from $4 to $83 per pupil, which would mean between $60,000 and $1.2 million additional dollars for our school district next year. Classroom and Kids is a 4th proposal that was put together by various professionals within the education community and is supported by numerous education affiliations. The proposal, while providing no additional dollars in total, does provide districts with the most flexibility in the use of the dollars they receive and ensures the most equitable distribution of available revenue. As a result, districts would receive additional dollars while not costing the state any more. The executive proposal presented by the governor provides a budget that structurally is very similar to the budget we are currently operating under and would provide an additional $83 per pupil for Walled Lake schools. The Senate proposal would mean an additional $75 per pupil and concentrates those dollars in the foundation allowance. The foundation allowance is the amount a district receives for each child that attends their district. This is the most flexible of all funding received. The House proposal is the most restrictive of the plans, creating new requirements for districts in order to receive some of the funding that we already receive. It is expected that these requirements will be difficult for most districts to accomplish. As a result, this proposal would provide Walled Lake schools with the least amount of increase, at only $4 per pupil, or approximately $60,000. We appreciate that each legislative body recognized the need for increased funding for K-12 education. While the proposed increases would reduce our deficit between $4.8 to $5.9 million, none of the increases proposed solve our budget deficit. As a result, Administration has met to consider possible reductions for next year. Items considered may include the reduction of teachers and paraeducators as a result of a declining enrollment, the reduction of head teacher positions at the elementary buildings that have them, athletic reductions, secretarial reductions, and administrative reductions, among others. We have fabulous employees who have given over the last several years. We will be meeting with each of our employee groups again this year to discuss salaries and benefits. Continued concessions will be explored and could be a part of the equation. We value your input as we face these challenging times together. Feel free to share your comments, suggestions, questions, and praise at WLCSD.org. We will also be holding parent informational meetings at each of our 4 middle schools over the next couple of months to share this information and seek input.